episode of Bullseye. I'm your host, Larry Frank, and in just a moment, we'll be introducing our co-host to you, Bradley Lewis Walker. And boy, do we have a fun, full-packed show for you again this evening. And just about 30 minutes from now, 28 minutes from now, we're going to have the all-time leader in scoring in all of basketball for USF. Jessica Dickson is going to be joining us. Just a great show that we have in store for you. And as always, on Tuesday nights, I'm happy to bring in my good buddy and co-host, Bradley Lewis Walker. And there he is, smiling again. As always, Bradley, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm good, Larry. How are you?
Doing really good. Really good. I know we got a fun, full-packed show, in store for us tonight. I mean, we have, in 30 minutes, we're going to speak to one of the greatest basketball players, arguably, to ever play at the University of South Florida, and that is Jessica Dickson. So really looking forward to that. But before we get into that, it's that time of year where football awards and or rewards, I should say, start coming out, and we want to make sure that we definitely go ahead and let me try to bring this up here. There we go. Recognize the great Antonio Greer of the USF football team, who today, if you have not heard it yet, was a second team all-conference, was named, led the team in tackles with 59, tackles for losses 3, and definitely forced fumbles with 2. I would say a well-deserved honor for the young man.
Yeah, again, part of the defense that played particularly well towards the end of the season, especially against UCF. But yeah, definitely Mr. Greer definitely deserved all those accolades that he got.
Yeah, and, it's just once again you're seeing, let's hope, what? It's almost January, buddy. Thank goodness this year's almost over. I know I'm one of many people that say that. And, it's not going to be long before, we're talking about, I think signing day was today or first thing early in the morning tomorrow, whatever. So it's not before long when we start talking about recruiting and, who we're going to get for next year. And a lot of excitement, going to be building around next year's team now that, Coach Scott has this year under him. But, I definitely want to take the time. I wanted to make sure we recognize that young man for a well-deserved honor, and he deserves all the accolades he gets, on a defense that wasn't the strongest this year, but did come up with some big plays. He was one of the main forces on that defense, leading the team with tackles, and a reward or award that is definitely deserved.
Yeah, Larry, I'm actually, like you just mentioned, signing day happened, recruiting definitely will happen, and I'm hoping, as I was back in 2018, or 2019, to be able to attend the spring game. How fun that is to be on the sidelines and get to see all the new recruits, the team, obviously all the returning guys coming back. And because we didn't get a chance to do that this year with Coach Scott, hopefully that happens in 2021, where we can get a chance to kind of see what Coach Scott has to offer during the springtime.
Yeah, and not just during the springtime, but now it looks like, and I say looks like because one thing we've learned over the past year is you can take nothing for granted, is that things should, by next football season, knock on wood or knock on whatever you want, should play out to be as close to normal as they were before. So we may get to see some spring practices, based on this vaccination. And we may get to see the regular routines that coaches and players are used to go through. And I can't wait, especially if that's the case, because, I think this is the season we find out about what Coach Scott and the football team is really about.
Yeah, like I said, a game that I've penciled down for the last year is Florida Gators will be here on September 11th. That'll be the 20th anniversary. Wow, how time is flying by for that tragedy that happened over 20 years ago. But that game, they'll be here at Raymond James Stadium, and it'll be a tough day for me. But I mean, it should be an exciting game, and we'll see the rest of the season how the Bulls are now with Coach Scott. Now he can evaluate what he has here and try to go out and get the guys that he needs to get this team back on the winning track. And I think we discussed this a couple of weeks ago that they have that nasty taste in their mouth of losing. I think they're going to come out in 2021 and try to win many games because they don't want to. They're tired of losing. In the last 8 or 9 games of the season.
Yeah, and we're going to have plenty of more time as you realize to talk about football in the upcoming weeks. But a lot of excitement building around tomorrow. And that is, we'll get into the women's basketball in a little bit, but we'll start out with the men's basketball tonight. The men's basketball, we're starting conference play tomorrow, and we'll get into that in a second. But before we get to the men's and them opening up versus, I believe it might be Cincinnati tomorrow. I get them confused with Memphis and Cincinnati because the women open up versus Memphis. We want to go ahead, and we're talking about recognition. And if I can find my cursor around here, that doesn't go short of recognizing our good buddy David Collins, also of the USF men's basketball team, who was named Player of the Week this week. And talk about a guy that is really starting to stand out and really become the focus of this team. It's David Collins. I mean, when you look at David in his last 2 games versus Stetson and versus Warford, he averaged 15.5 points, 10 rebounds, and, and that was one versus Stetson, one versus Warford. Really took control, handled the rebounding duties for the USF Bulls, and of course, obviously added the punch with the scoring. So a very well-deserved honor by David Collins.
Yeah, I'm just looking at what he did against Wolford. He had 13 points. He was 6 for 14. Again, you're going to need guys like that. He has been stepping up. The game against Wolford and, like you said, against Stetson have been 2 of his good games. And obviously maybe, they're focusing their offense around Mr. Collins, and that's a good thing for USF moving forward since we're 4-2 so far this season.
Yeah, and you talked about Wolford. What an unbelievable game. That ended up being. I don't know if a lot of people gave Wolford a chance, but Wolford was a very, very good basketball team, and I expected a good game. Did I ever expect it to be, 58-56 with 19 seconds left, us hitting the game shot? No. I expected us to win, but this was a game when we were only up 25-24 at halftime, and you talked about Dave Collins, his 13 points, 11 rebounds, had a double-double, 3 assists. Alexis showed up yet, had 11 points, 4 rebounds. But I'll tell you what, once again, and we talk about this week after week, let's start out turning over the ball. You mentioned it last week on our show. You can't be successful if you're turning the ball over as much as the men's. And it's still one of the things that they need to work on as they turn the ball over 18 times versus Warford.
Yeah, like I said, I'm glad you mentioned they were only up by 1 point at halftime, and to only win by 2 points, is something like that. And you're exactly right. Again, just like in every sport, guys, in football, basketball, whatever it is, turnovers will kill you. If you can win the turnover battle, you most likely will win the game. Now, that's not always, that's not how it always works out. But in some cases, it's, in this case, it worked in our favor. We turned the ball over 18 times and still were able to win by 2 points, but that was too close to call, in my opinion.
And, I talked about physicality last week. You and I were talking, and I brought that up. And here's a team that I really thought we have to be more aggressive on our rebounding. We can't be close on rebounding. When you got a team like Wolford, you're playing, and you only rebound them 40-37, you're not really taking control of the boards when you play that game, now I want to give credit where credit was due. Trey Hallowell, 22 points for Warford. And the guy that really impressed me on that Warford team was Storm Murphy, who had 17 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists all over the place. A great, great ball player. So I do want to give credit. But once again, I've talked about it since the season started, and I don't know what it's going to take for them. What? They're 4-2, so we're 6 games in. We're starting conference play, but you can't go 4 for 10 from the free throw line, shoot at a clip of 40%, and expect to win, because then they're going to keep putting you on the line and forcing you to make foul shots, which you can't make.
Yeah, Larry, that's again, it sounds like a broken record. I think we've talked about this in the past too, about the free throws being 4 for 10. I mean, let's go back to the rebounds. They only had 10 offensive boards. That's not good. I mean, those are second chance points, as they're called in basketball. They got to be better on the boards, better on the offensive boards, and they've got to get better from the free throw line, because, like you just said, they'll foul you because you're not making your free throws. So that's the way we can beat you. Then that's the way we're going to beat you. So they've got to get better.
The key to look at that, Bradley, when you say they had 10 rebounds, okay, or offensive rebounds. Well, if you shoot the ball, add your free throws in, and let's say you make 20 shots out of 50 shots, I'm just throwing a number, then where the heck are those other 30 shots going when you miss? Which we know that answer, and that's how you look at it. But another thing, Bradley, is this is a team we know. They like to push the ball inside, or they like to hit the three-pointer. They live and die by the three-pointer, and there's no consistency on their three-point shooting, as they were 4 from 17 from three-point range. Now, inside the three, they actually shot 50%, which is a decent number. But, when you're taking 17 three-point shots, okay, they have 10 off. So you miss 13. They have 10 offensive rebounds, which means that every time you take a three-point shot, if you miss, the chance of the opposing team getting the rebound is very good, because we're not physical underneath and blocking out the rebounders of the opponent.
Yeah, exactly. Again, there you go there too. Like I said, the other 30 times, I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, when you can't get your secondary scoring, and you're not getting a great. I know they like to push the ball inside, and again, if they're going to push the ball inside, they're going to have to make free throws, because you're going to draw fouls. If you're not going to do that, then you're going to take the 3 ball. You got to make them, because if you're not making them and not getting rebounds, it's not going to be a very good combination.
And you and I both know, if they're pushing the ball inside to Yetner, and Yetner gets the ball, and he's being surrounded, and he doesn't push it back to the guy on the, outside the perimeter, then like you said, he should be getting fouled. And if he's not getting fouled, why isn't he getting fouled? And the answer is he's not being aggressive enough. He's not being physical enough. There is no reason why every time he touches the ball, if he's not getting a shot off, that he's not fouled inside, unless he pushes the ball back outside. And we're not seeing that from yet. And now we got an ACC matchup. I'm sorry, excuse me. I said ACC. AAC matchup coming up tomorrow versus Cincinnati. John Brennan, the head coach of Cincinnati Bearcats, has an unbelievable team. I think, if I'm correct, I'm doing this off memory, but I think they won the AAC championship last year. And this is a team that, if you're going to beat Cincinnati, especially in Cincinnati, the key to beating Cincinnati is you have to win the rebound game. And right now, based on what I'm seeing, and I'm sure Coach Gregory sees the same thing, so hopefully they're corrected. They have to get a hell of a lot more aggressive on the defensive side, banging people around. You know what? So what? Let Yetner foul out, get 5 fouls. I'm not talking about in the first half, but somewhere late in the game, at least he's showing some physicality and playing the game hard and going after rebounds.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, Larry. I mean, if that's what it takes, sometimes your big men have to foul out, because then if they foul out, they've been aggressive. I mean, I'm looking at the ESPN matchup predictor right now, and they got Cincinnati favored 66%, almost 67%. So that tells you who the favorite is, with them being 2-2 on the season. Yeah, we're going to have to win the rebound battle. We're going to have to shoot better from the free throw line, and we're going to have to shoot better from beyond the arc. We're going to be able to beat them on the road.
Yeah, and the big guy that scored the forward last year, scored 30 points versus us, is Keith Williams, who so far this year for Cincinnati is averaging 14.5 points. But the last time he faced USF, he scored 30 points. He was hitting from everywhere. So he's one guy, and the other guy is David, I believe it's DeJulius is how you pronounce his name. He's averaging close to 11 points a game. So this is a team that can score points, and they're going to out-rebound you and play physical. So you have to, like I said, come in. But the big matchup that I see in this game is going to be, they got a young freshman named Tari Eason who's going to probably match up against Alexis Yetner. And we really haven't seen, say what you want. Yetner's been playing decent basketball. I don't want to say that, by us saying that he needs to work on these things, that he's not playing well. I just like a tough guy underneath, a Charles Barkley type, player underneath, draw a couple of fouls. But he's going to have to be physical in this game. And we're waiting to see this breakout game where he can score 18 points, get a nice double-double. And, in order for us to, a lot of people predicted us to be in the middle of the pack in the AAC. We take those predictions with a grain of salt. But in order for us to be able to compete in the AAC, Yetton is definitely going to have to get more physical, and it's got to start tomorrow night.
Yeah, because like I said, now, Larry, we're in conference play. So, all these games remaining on our schedule are all conference games. And, in basketball, not so much in football, but in basketball, winning your conference games is the most important thing. I mean, that's what can get you, that. And so, again, with COVID this year, we're not going to have any out-of-conference games, so they have to fill in a little bit more. But, yeah, Yetner's going to have to be there, step up. And you know what? It would be nice to get a big win over the Bearcats this weekend.
And, well, you're right. Wouldn't it be nice? Let's start off 1-0. We beat the defending champs of the AAC. Right away, you set a statement to the rest of the AAC that, hey, you know what? We may not have the best team on paper, but when we come to your place, we're going to come and we're going to give 100%, and you're going to be very happy when we finally leave there because we're going to give it all we got.
Yeah, I agree with you, Larry. That would be great to set an example right off the bat and say, you know what? We're supposed to be middle of the pack. We just beat the defending AAC champions right off the bat. So we start our conference play at 1-0. That would be great.
Yeah, and I'm sure Coach Gregory, let me see. I got that right here somewhere. Let's flip over to the men's side here. Yeah, that's tomorrow night versus Cincinnati, 7 p.m. on ESPN2. So that will not be on ESPN Plus. That game is actually going to be shown, a nice game on ESPN2. So not only do you get that, but you get the national attention as well. You can build, a good little following and maybe get some recognition. We're not a top 25 team yet. We know that. But darn it, we can stop playing like one.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's the men's side of things. And then we go on, and we're about 10 minutes away. If you're just joining us, we're going to go ahead and have Jessica Dickson, Hall of Famer for USF Athletics, will be joining us live. One of the best women players to ever play at the University of South Florida. We'll have her in about 10 minutes. For those of you joining us on several different platforms, I know we're on for USF, do me a favor. Go ahead and join. Not only, you're already on it, but go ahead and allow your friends the opportunity to join as well. Share it to your timeline. The more you share, the more opportunity people have of knowing that we're here and enjoying this show. I've had a couple of people say, wow, I wish, I would have known you and Bradley had this show on. I saw it on YouTube and it was terrific. I would have watched it that night. Well, this is your opportunity. You're all USF fans. I know if you're a USF fan, you have a friend somewhere that's a USF fan. Go ahead. let's go ahead and do that. And by the way, before we get to the women's, and I'm not sure we'll have time to get through all of it, but it was announced earlier yesterday, announced today, that both conference play for the men's and the women's of USF are going to allow limited fans at the England Center. So for those of you fans that are interested in going to the games, you got your wish. They are going to allow fans. They didn't say, I didn't read up on the exact number, but starting as soon as they come home, which I believe the men's this weekend, it might be versus Houston if I'm correct. Excuse me. The first home game, they will allow limited fans. So for those of you interested in getting the tickets, you can go to the Bullseye website. There is a way to get tickets on the website, or just go to USF Athletics. I'm sure that is. But, you know, we were talking about recognition earlier. Let me see if I can find this as well. I put so much stuff up here. And let's not forget, you know, Elena Sinicki of the woman either. I was waiting till we got to the women's basketball to do it, who made the honor roll. And what a great, you know, game she had last game. You know, she had 16 points, was 5 of 10 shooting. But the one thing about this lady gets hot right now, I'll tell you what, you can write it, you can end it now, AAC, because the first couple of games she wasn't shooting well. Well, last game she came out and had 4 3-pointers, and that's the Sinicki we know. And, you know, that's going to be a big, big difference in their game when they start shooting that well from the outside. So we want to definitely say congratulations to Elena. It's well deserved. I can't say enough about that. But the women's basketball team, 3-1. They're now ranked, if you did not hear, 23rd in the nation. I got a text the other day on Bullseye on our Facebook platform, and someone said, well, we should be better than number 23. Don't worry about the number. Don't worry about the ranking. The best way to take care of the ranking is take care of business when you get on the court and win ball games, and the rankings will take care of themselves. Right now, you didn't even start conference play yet. Don't worry about the rankings. You win ball games, believe me, you'll see that stock rise quickly, especially when you're playing in a terrific division like the AAC.
Yeah, real quick, right before we jump into my comment on that, the men's first game is the 22nd against Wichita State. Just want to clear that up. If you want to go to the game, that's fine as well. But it's Wichita State that they're playing on the 22nd, 2 days before Christmas Eve. So, but yes, I agree with you, Larry, on that. Yeah, if Miss Sinicki and company continue to play like they've played the last 2 games, Mississippi State, and then they, just tore the let me say this, hats off the Hatters this past time. This team is, and again, guys, guess what? UConn moved out of the division. You know what? That may have been something good for us. I know they went back to the Big East, but yeah, I mean, this team is playing very well, and they're 3-1. And yeah, like I said, their whole ranking thing, that's just like in college football when everything starts. Give it some time. Your team will make it up. If you keep winning games and they can keep doing that, they'll move up in the rankings.
And, they did exactly what, excuse me, something went down the wrong pipe. Exactly what they needed to do. They played Stetson. They should have won big. And what did they do? They did win big. They won by what? 42 points they win by. Everybody got to play. 13 different people scored in this game. We talked about Alina, but Beth Manunga, who is just having an outstanding year, had another double-double, 10 points, 11 rebounds. They out, and we'll talk about, and this is a little difference between the men's and women. Talk about rebounding and doing what you got to do to win. They out-rebounded Stetson 69-28. I'm sorry, 69 rebounds they had. Excuse me a minute. They had 69 rebounds that entire game. 20. Excuse me.
20 offensive boards.
28 of them were offensive boards. So thank you. And then of course, Shea Leverett scored 12 points as well. Don't know what hit me. You might have to talk a little bit more or something.
Yeah, I was going to say, Larry, real quick. Larry said they did have 28 offensive boards, 69 total, 29 to Stetson's 29. But let's look at this. Guys, they were 16 of 24 from the free throw line. That's 66%, almost 68%. They were 9 for 26 from three-point land. So, again, let's look at that. They made their free throws, and that's key. Any basketball game, no matter if you're men's or women's, that's key. So again, let's look at the turnovers. Yeah, they had one more turnover than Stetson did, but you know what? It didn't matter when you win by 42 points.
Yeah, exactly. And they play at 3 p.m. tomorrow on ESPN Plus versus Memphis. And you look at this team, the one thing I love about this women's basketball team is they're very well balanced, especially in the scoring area. You got Alvarez averaging 11.7 points this year. You mentioned Saniki, 9.8. You mentioned Bethany Manungu, who I call Mrs. Double-Double because she gets double-doubles, it seems like, every game. She's averaging 11 rebounds a game, 9 points. And we didn't even mention two names that are key to this team. Elisa Pinzon and Maria Alvarez, who are big players as far as they go. So when you look at this team, tomorrow the tough player they got to stop is this Memphis team is led by a young lady that is exceptional. I can't pronounce the name. I think it's Dulcie Famkin Manajadiu. See, it made me cough. But this is a game that, once again, if I'm not as worried about the woman. Wow, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm not as worried about the woman. I mean, they just go in and do the things that they have been doing. They're going to be just fine. Just keep playing.
Yes.
Don't change anything that you've been doing. Come out and continue to play the same style basketball that you've been playing all season long.
No doubt. I mean, and under Coach Fernandez, it's been, it's his style. It's been that way for 20 years, and nothing's really changed. Just the players that have come in and out of here has been it, but it's still the same style, and it's been great. Then they're, like I said, they're 3-1, and I mean, we played a hell of a game. We could be 4-0 right now, in all reality. So I mean, let's look at it like that. We only lost by 4 points to Mississippi State, so let's put that out there as well. It was a very close game. But yeah, I don't see them at all, Larry, struggling tomorrow against Memphis at 3 o'clock. If they play like they played against Stetson, it won't be a ball game.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And we're just a couple of minutes away from having Jessica Dickson on. I believe she's coming on shortly here. We'll talk to her about, her time with USF, of course, what's going on currently with USF. But yeah, I mean, the women's team, obviously, the big thing tomorrow is go out and win game one, just like you said about the men with the AAC. They're favored in the AAC to win that conference, and there's no better way. Let's go out there. You're on the road. Make a statement early saying, hey, we're the team to beat. Whether we come to you or you come to us, we're going to be playing top-notch basketball.
Absolutely. Yep. Couldn't agree more.
All right. Well, a couple minutes away. I'm going to check in a minute. Let her know we are ready for her to come on, Bradley.
Actually, Larry, it looks like the women opened up against Houston at home. So that was
Is that why I messed it up? Okay.
Yeah. Houston. They started Houston on the 19th, which is this Saturday, actually. So that's the first game at the Yingling Center. Will be our Lady Bulls against the Houston Cougars are coming in. Mm-hmm.
Right. I believe that's a 7 o'clock start, if I'm correct.
Yes, correct. That's correct.
Right. So, and that's another big one, Bradley. So 2 big conference games in, a matter of what? A couple of days, is it? You said the weekend?
Yeah,
so
3 days. Memphis
right?
tomorrow, and then it'll be Houston on Saturday. So a matter of 3 days in between. And actually, then 3 days later, we're on the road against Cincinnati. So it's going to be real quick, right in a row there for our Lady Bulls.
Let me just tell her 1 quick second. She's having difficulty getting on. Just
I went to a men's game last year. I'm gonna have to get out and watch the ladies play sometime at the Yingling Center too. Maybe this year, go in there and see a game.
Yep. Excuse me one sec while I just should get you. So let me let her know she's having some difficulty there. So we'll find out what's going on. Yeah, all of a sudden just started. Something went down the wrong pipe. Not sick or nothing, I promise everyone. But I just went ahead and texted Jessica. She said she's having some trouble getting on, so we'll give her a couple minutes to see if she can go ahead and get on.
I got a new USF hat. That's why it's not turned around tonight, because I got this new hat and I wanted to show it off.
Look, we both have the Bulls here. You can see my balls, everyone. But we both have the Bulls on it and everything. So, let's hope it brings them good luck.
Yeah, because hasn't it been every time that we've been on here they've won? So that's a good thing. Hopefully that goes tomorrow for both teams. That would be kind of cool if they both win tomorrow.
They open up the same day, a couple of hours apart. Remember, that game is in Memphis. It starts 3 our time, 2 their time.
Right.
That would, what a great night. I come on to Frankly Speaking Sports tomorrow night and announce that both the men's and the women's have won. It would just be great. And, we also, while we're waiting for Jessica to come on, want to wish Coach Brian Gregory of the men a happy birthday. It's his birthday today. While we have the time here, while we're waiting for Jessica to come on, we definitely want to go ahead and, wish him a very, very happy birthday. Let me see if she's having a little thing going on. All right, I let her know. Let us see that, and we'll just keep on going and talk. But after Jessica gets off the phone, we're going to talk about something and I like to wait till the end of the show sometimes to do this because I don't want to be interrupted. But something that disturbed me today in relation to USF, nothing USF done wrong, of course, but something that is just was disturbing me as Jessica is. I'm on. It's telling me to rotate my device. I'm using an iPad. Can she use an iPad for that?
I think so, Larry. I don't think that will be an issue. She again, just like with the with the guy that we had last week, I think he had that way too. So I don't think that will be an issue. I don't think so. I'd be honest with you. I don't know if I'm sure that it would work.
Let me just tell her. I'll just tell her you have to either rotate it or use a computer, right?
Right, correct. Or again, the old-fashioned phone will not hurt either. The old-fashioned phone will not hurt either.
It doesn't work on the phone?
Well, I'm saying if she can't get either one of those, she call us on the phone. Yeah.
All right. She's waiting for me to respond back, so I do apologize for the fans that are waiting for that. All right. We had that. That's the women's basketball emblem. So we show that now. All right. I can get rid of that now. And ladies and gentlemen, those of you just bear with us for one moment while we're trying to get Jessica connected to our network right now. Not sure what's happening. Not sure where she's even coming from. So it's hard for me to know. But hopefully she'll be joining us in just a moment. If not, we'll go ahead, like Bradley said, and do it the old-fashioned way, the telephono.
Yeah, actually, there's still you can still interview people over the telephone.
She said she rotated it. It didn't work.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then maybe Larry, if she doesn't have a computer, she may have to use the old-fashioned calling phone. And
Okay. Let me just ask you: do you have a computer, or would you like to do a phone interview? We'll ask her that. We'll find out, and we'll get her on here. Now we'll just do the phone interview, and if you can hear her, Bradley, I know everybody can hear her. That's how I tell when we do these. Okay. So we're waiting for her to text back right now. But yep, sometimes that happens. It depends on technology's great until it's not so great. So she's texting us right now. I'm giving you a little play-by-play here.
That's okay.
Yep, Wait. Nowadays, if it's in capital letters, it means it's serious, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, I'm still learning some of this stuff.
Yeah. When someone sends all caps, it means yeah.
Yeah. Okay. See, I'm learning.
Yep.
All right. Let me do that. All right. I'm typing some while she's typing. All right. So bear with us, folks. I do apologize once again. We're just trying to get this hooked up the best way. I'm waiting for a response. And then we'll talk to Jessica Dickson. Yeah, I'm not familiar with tablets and with phones. I know like the Crew Life president, Rob Thompson, he gets on his phone and he comes on. And I don't know how he does that because I've had people, I guess if you have an Android or a certain phone, it works. Same thing with a tablet, depends who your connections with. That's why computers are the safest way lately. She's writing me one heck of a note here.
Yeah, I can see, Larry. I'm sure that I could, if I couldn't use my laptop, I could use my phone and come on that way too, in that form. Yeah.
But like I said, she's hopefully moments away. Up here we go. Look at that. Now we just got to get the video part for her. We see her, we just don't see the video. So, let me see if I can get her up and stream just in case. Okay, I know we can't see her. Jessica, can you hear us at least? Okay, let me just.
Hello?
Hello, Jessica. You can hear us. You just can't see us, right? Oh, there you are. Whoops.
I can see you guys. I gotta flip my camera. That's what I'm trying to.
Oh, okay. Because we can hear you. Oh, we lost her there. We're getting closer, bud.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Up there. Okay, let's see. Let me try to bring it back up here. Yeah, we just can't see her and get the.
Yeah, she said she was trying to flip her camera around.
Yeah, it's difficult when you're not familiar with it. Once you get familiar with it, you go, oh, it's not like we talk on a FaceTime or whatever every single day. So it's but as we'll wait a couple more minutes, we'll try to get her on there. But we talked about the basketball teams and how quick of a start they need to get into, and whether it's the men's or the women's. I'm not, now that I can talk again with my voice, I'm not concerned about the woman at all. The women just keep doing what they're doing, hitting their shots, going after it, playing great tempo, like you said, start hitting those 3-point shots. I don't see the woman having any trouble, the entire year in the AAC. On the other end of the spectrum, the men have to play more consistent and more physical than they've been playing if they want to make a statement. They are not going to win games, like we said earlier, shooting 40% and 50%. 4 for 10, you miss 6, okay? Still a lot of free throws to miss. But when you're talking about, shooting 30 free throws a game, if they put you to the line that much and you're just making 4, that means you're only making 12 of 30, and now you're missing 18 points. So, the percentage may be the same, but the more times they'll start putting you on the free throw line, the less opportunities, you're going to have of winning ball games.
Yep. And again, just like you said too, Larry, that's 18 points you couldn't score. And sometimes that can be big down the stretch. So absolutely.
Well, let me just tell her, try one more time or we'll do it over the phone. All right. All right, one. I'll tell you, try one. If it doesn't work, we will do it over phone. Yeah, I know how that can get real frustrating right there. So she's going to try one more time, folks. She can't get on that way. We're just going to do it over the phone. She said, okay. All right. So let her try. And she is using Google, which is good, I think, because that's what I think I'm on. So that should help her out. We'll try one more time to get her on. And then we'll do, like Bradley says, the old-fashioned way. We're going to earn it. No, that's what EF Hutton. Wow. I'm going back, show my age there. But while we also have a second, I do want to send out, and I'm sure I say this on behalf of Bradley as well, our prayers and thoughts with Deontay Johnson of the University of Florida. If you haven't heard, he's the basketball player, the young man that collapsed on the court this week. They did. He is now communicating. He is talking to family members. So some great news out of the University of Florida there. We wish him a speedy recovery. He's still in stable condition. But I'll tell you what, Bradley, I got to see the replay of that whole thing. And when you look at it, he looked fine. He goes into the huddle, comes out of a timeout and came back on the court and just fell right on his face. And, very, very scary situation. It brought back a lot of unpleasant memories for me when I was younger with the whole Hank Gathers thing from, I don't know if you remember that because you were young, with UNLV, and, really, really scary situation. And, it's just, you just never know on what day or when something is going to happen. So our prayers definitely go out to him, his family, the University of Florida, and everyone, associated with him.
Yeah, because I know they said something, Larry, that it may have been COVID related because he had COVID-19. And
I'm with you. And, that's a whole nother subject. Yeah. And I'll tell you why I say that, because it seems like no matter what happens anymore, we don't know what his previous condition, you and I.
True.
We don't know if he has a history of medical history, but everybody wants to be so quick to blame it on COVID. And yes, did he have COVID? Yes, but he would not have been back playing if he was still positive of COVID-19. And I'm not saying it wasn't related. Please don't think I'm being like insensitive or anything, but you have to understand that we can't turn around every time something happens and automatically blame it on COVID like they're doing. Like you said, that's not towards you, Bradley. That's towards them saying that. We need to go ahead. They need to find out, the main thing is find out what the heck happened so you can cure this young man and he can go on to living a normal life. Basketball is not the most important thing right now. Him living and him being able to do that is the most important thing. Let me get her phone number.
Because the Gators did cancel their next game against North Florida. I did see that today.
They would do that. Okay, they were talking about it.
They've officially canceled it because it was too close to to him collapsing on the court in Tallahassee on Saturday. Yeah.
Right. Well, let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and get Jessica on the phone right now. So let me go ahead and do that. So we're sorry for you folks that we couldn't have her on video, but I will take blame for that. But let's go ahead and get her on the phone. Bradley, you'll let me know if you can hear, please.
Hello. I am so sorry. This is completely my fault.
No, Jessica, no, it's not. Jessica, it happens sometimes. It's sometimes just based on equipment. It seems like the best thing usually is a computer, but I've had people use phones. I had them use iPads. I couldn't tell you why or why not. So please, nothing, no big deal. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor, thrill, and pleasure to introduce to you on the Frankly Speaking Bullseye Sports Hotline. Let's welcome in USF Athletic Hall of Famer Jessica Dickson. Jessica, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Besides the technical difficulties, I'm doing good. I'm very honored that you allow me to do this show tonight. So I'm very honored. Thank you.
We're very honored to have you on this show, myself and Bradley Lewis Walker. So thank you so much, especially this close to the holiday. Jessica, let me ask you this. When you look at the USF women's basketball team and you look out on the court now, the last time you played was what, 206 or 207. 13 years later, you look on the USF basketball court at the Yingling Center and you see the same guy that was leading the troops when you played, leading the troops today. I mean, that has to say a lot for a university and for an organization.
Yeah, so that speaks volumes, as USF as a program, that, they put their trust and they put their faith in Jose Fernandez and him rebuilding that program and building it from the bottom and leading them to where they are now. They love Jose, his players, the organization, as far as the college itself, the athletic directors, the president, they just adore him, and that just speaks volumes to that school as well as Jose and his program.
Yeah, and Jessica, let me ask you this. Talk about the years between 2003 and 2007 when you were a member of the Bulls. You made the postseason. Not only did you make the postseason every single year you played, but what was it like to finally make the NCAA tournament?
That right there, for not only myself but my teammates, I think that was the turning point for us. The turning point for that program to say, hey, listen, we're here. Take a look at us. We're making some noise down in Tampa. So it was a great accomplishment for our team just to be, part of history. So we enjoyed it. We, relished in the moment. So like I said, it was a turning point, I think, for the program.
Yeah, and it sure was. Now, in 2006, you averaged 22 points per game. You're obviously in the Big East tournament. How much, after that 2006 year, I mean, you're being looked at on the watch list for every single reward, award, accolade, honor, whatever you want to word it, to look out for. How much did you feel a lot of extra pressure to succeed because now everybody knows who you are and they're watching you? Honestly, yeah, like you say, everybody's watching you. They're expecting
continue to, build on that junior year you had and going to your senior year, exceeding expectations. There is pressure, but I think, my teammates did a good job of keeping me grounded as well as Jose's coaching staff. So, but I'm a humble person by nature, and I just, let my work speak for me. So I just, remain in the gym, remain humbled, and went to work every time I went on the court.
Now, what was it like, when you finally had the opportunity and was drafted by the WNBA?
What a moment. Like, that's just something that you'll never forget. That's just something that sticks with you for, your lifetime. Super excited, just over the moon happy. It's just a great experience. A lot of people, there's people who can't say that they've ever had the opportunity. So I was extremely, extremely, grateful and happy.
Yeah, now, when you look at some of the accomplishments you did have, as there was many of them, you're the highest all-time point score leader in the history of USF. Now, that means men's and women's, not just women's. So, I have to keep Charlie Bradley, on point there, because I have to tell him he's not the best scorer ever. He's the best men's scorer ever. So, I mean, what is it like even 13 years later, you look up and you see yourself in, all the record books when it pertains to basketball at USF?
Oh, man, it's such a wonderful feeling. Like I said before, naturally I'm a humble person, but, whenever I've been, in the viewing center and I look up at my jersey and I see the record books, I have to chuckle to myself like, wow, those are some great accomplishments. And sometimes I go to myself, you know what, I'm pretty darn good. So.
And that's okay. You can say that. You were darn good.
Yeah. So, it was just definitely a great experience. I enjoyed it. It just makes me happy, to be honest.
Now, we talked about the great teams you had the honor and privilege of playing on under Coach Fernandez. I mean, you look at this team this year, and do you still follow the team, Jessica?
The beginning of this season, I haven't really followed them, but I did see, their upset against Mississippi State, so I was thrilled about that. That's just huge for those young ladies and huge for Jose and the program itself. So I was, very, very happy with that. I did see that. Last year, I followed them a little bit. I took our girls basketball team. I was an assistant coach last year at Forest High School, and I took my girls down there to watch them play against UConn. So, the girls got to experience, being able to see a game live and seeing college players play. So, but Jose has always been good at getting the right players that fit into his system and fit into his program. So he's very good at that. No matter what, I know that Jose's going to put a good product out on the floor every year.
Yeah, and there's no doubt the women's team has always been a very competitive team. You mentioned UConn, and for the first time, finally, we got them out of our conference. That was the team, even when you played, they've been the powerhouse. I couldn't tell you how long in that conference. I mean, if you're talking to these young ladies on the Bulls right now, and they're being, actually picked to win the conference now, to be the new UConn, if you want to call it. I mean, what advice would you give to these young ladies because so much was expected out of USF when you were playing because you became so good. What advice did you learn there that you would give them today?
It's an honor for them to be picked, to win the conference, but they just have to go out and play every game, like, even though they're picked to be first, but they have to play it like you haven't been picked. So that way you're going out there, you're playing with a chip on your shoulder, so that way when you go ahead and you are become the conference champion, you just have that attitude and that determination, like, yeah, this is where we're supposed to be. So let it go to their head. Just play every game like you haven't even been picked to be conference champion.
We're going to let Bradley Lewis Walker, my co-host, jump in. I know he's dying over here to ask you a couple questions. Go ahead, Bradley.
Jessica, what was it like playing under Coach Fernandez during your playing days?
Intense. It was intense. Jose is, like I said, he's a great, great guy. He knows his stuff. Like, there'll be times in the huddle, like, he'll draw up a play, and I'm like, okay, we didn't practice this. But he drew it up, and we go out and we execute it, and it works. But, good. Like, oh, yeah, he's very smart as far as, like, drawing up plays and defense routines and stuff like that. He knows his stuff. So, he's a great leader. He's a great leader.
And one more is, other than UConn, what was the team that you wanted to beat every year during your playing days?
In our conference, or
Overall, outside of UConn, was there a team, Jessica, that you guys just wanted to beat every year?
Good question. Everybody really. But I think for us it was UConn. Mostly UConn. I can't think of anybody else outside of them.
Is that because they were the best team?
Say it again.
Is that because they were the best?
Yes. Everybody wants to beat the Giant. Everybody wants to, beat the best team. That's bragging rights. That's a
Right.
knock on the barrel. So yeah.
Talk about the Hall of Fame induction. I asked Charlie about that too, and he was on. What was it like to be not to be asked, but when you found out they were going to honor you and put you in the university that you went to, Athletic Hall of Fame?
I was just totally like super. I was a loss for words. See right here, I'm lost for words. That's how I was when I found out. Like wow, they want to put me in the school Hall of Fame. So I was taken aback. And also to be in the Hall of Fame with the late Mr. Leroy Selman and Chucky Atkins. It was just such an honor. I was really blown away.
Yeah, there is some amazing athletes in that Hall of Fame. When you look back on your career, and now that we're pretty much doing that tonight a little bit, and 13 years later, I mean, when you say to yourself, yes, I was a great basketball player. Yes, I had a lot of records. Yes, I had a lot of honors. But if there's one thing, especially the teammates that you played with, because I know you had a lot of great friendships, a lot of great teammates, a great coach, which we talked about in Jose Fernandez, what's the one thing that means more to you to be remembered by than anything else?
For me, honestly, I would say, and as far as like my teammates too, I think would agree. For us, that turning point for us, making it to the NCAA tournament. I think that was the turning point. I think that was the greatest thing that I would like to be remembered for, and my teammates would like to be remembered for. I would have to say definitely that.
Yeah, and the one thing that nobody can take away, Jessica, is the path and the map that you put forth for all the people that come through University of Florida as an athlete and also as a basketball player to follow. I mean, it's just incredible the accomplishments that you've had playing for USF.
Thank you. Yes. It was a journey. Like, I wouldn't take it back. Some people ask me, would you do anything different? Would you go somewhere else? And I always tell them, no, I would do it all over again the same exact way. USF opened so many doors for me, so, I would do it over again.
Now, did you have other colleges that you had to pick from, or did you know it was USF you wanted to go to?
I really, really want to go to Florida. The story with that is, I think at the time they had Carol Ross. She was the head coach there, and she was recruiting me. She was interested. I mean, not Carol Ross. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think it's Carol Ross. Well, then she ended up leaving, and they had a new coach come in, and I don't, they kind of fell off a little bit, and USF was still there recruiting me. I can remember to this day Harry Ellison. I would always see him at every one of my AAU events or at my high school games, and I would always know that he was there because he wore a USF vest. And every time I seen Harry, he had on that vest, and I'm like, "Yep, that's USF." That's how I knew they were there. But I did know that I wanted to stay in Florida, so that narrowed it down.
Right. Now, before I let you run, Jessica, and I think it's an incredible thing I know you've been doing, why don't we give you a little bit of time here to talk about your organization? I know you do a lot with and for kids, and I want to make sure you get an opportunity to tell the listeners what you're doing.
Excuse me. Well, my organization is Dickson for Kids, Inc. It's to help underprivileged youth. To be honest, I haven't really been doing anything with it lately, but it's something that I want to get back started up. I want to get it to where we're doing like scholarships for kids. We're doing the Thanksgiving dinner giveaways, Christmas shopping giveaways, that kind of stuff. I kind of put it on hold for right now. I'm actually coaching right now. I'm the head coach at Forest High School girls basketball team. But with my foundation, I'm just, trying to get it back up on the ground.
Well, if you ever need any help, need to post anything, get the word out there. You always have our platform that you're more than welcome to use as much as you need to.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, Jessica, we want to take the time to thank you very, very much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us on Bullseye tonight. And, on behalf of myself and Bradley, I know I speak for him, make sure you have a great and safe holiday and New Year.
Thank you so much for having me, and happy holidays to you guys as well.
All right, you have a good night.
Thank you, you too.
Bye-bye. That was Jessica Dickson, member of the USF Athletic Hall of Fame. And, Bradley, that was one heck of a player for USF. Another great, great player that we've had the honor and privilege of having on our show on Bullseye. I mean, the one thing, and I'm not trying to, be funny or anything, is nobody can take away the amazing and wonderful guests that both of us have had the privilege of speaking to on this show. In just such a short time, I think it's been maybe 3 months. I know time goes by quick. We've had some of the greatest athletes to ever walk through the door. I mean, Matt Groth, Santiago Gramatica, just on the football side. We actually in the process of getting Markel Blackman on the show as well. We're just waiting. Timing is everything. Football season's over. Not that we can't get him on now, but I talked to Michael Hogan actually yesterday, who is the great communication director of women's basketball, and he hasn't forgotten us. He said with Coach Fernandez, but they couldn't do it tonight because they're traveling to Memphis, which we know that and we understand that. So they're still working on it. We just have some great guests, and it's just amazing the guests that we have on.
Yeah, Larry, I remember when you pitched the show to me to come on here, and it's been great. I mean, honestly, it's been great coming on here and getting to interview, the past greats at USF, and hopefully we can get, again, I'm still waiting and biting at my teeth to get Michael Kelly on here. I can't wait to interview our AD. That would be cool as well. But yeah, it's been an absolute great. Again, not one interview we've had. I know I say this every time at the end of the interview, but not one person says anything negative about the university or the coaching staff. That's outstanding. That's how well that they want to be remembered as a USF Bull and how much they treasure that they made the decision to be a USF Bull.
Yeah, and now we just need to keep growing and growing and growing because, I said it, I'm not going to get in long-winded now because I know we took a little longer on the interview due to some technical difficulties, but we'll talk about it again next week. But we have to do something to get this local media more involved. And when I say local media, I'm not talking about the South Florida Bulls.com. They do a great job. I'm not talking about Bulls Unlimited. They do a great job. The USF networks themselves do a great job. The Michael Hogan's, the Bill Segrist, the J.D. Bramos, they do Ambrose, I'm sorry. They do a great job. They can only do so much. But just to give you an example, today, as always, we try to do a preview of the upcoming games for the Bulls, men's and women's. And when you go to the news, you have to look at, you go to Memphis paper, bam, you see them talking about the game tomorrow with the women's USF basketball team. You go to the Cincinnati Enquirer, bam, there it is. Cincinnati Bearcats open up AAC tomorrow versus USF. There's nothing from the Tampa Bay Times. And we cannot continue to have that. The Tampa Bay Times has to show that they're going to be a leader in Tampa Bay and be the only newspaper that's around. Well, they got to, get on this bandwagon of USF and start showcasing their local team because it was a complete disgrace to not be able to see something today, in the headlines when you went on Google and you had to put in opposing newspapers' clips up because our damn newspapers or our damn TV stations cannot get involved. Or on Saturday when you have a women's or men's basketball game going on, instead of listening to them on radio, you have to listen to NC State playing a football game versus Oklahoma. Now, don't get me wrong, nothing against that game, the football game, but this is USF country. We have to be able to pull up a radio station that plays our local team. We have to be able to, have access to TV or to something or media to go ahead and know about our team. I mean, you and I can only do so much. The guys on the other websites can only do so much. It's just disgusting, disgraceful, and, I don't know the right word to have the media and I'm calling out the Tampa Bay Tribune or whatever the heck they're called right now. I'm calling them out. Joey Knight, you're a writer for USF. Where the hell is your article today talking about USF opening up AAC play tomorrow? There's no excitement. The reason why we struggle to get some people in the stands now, forget about COVID-19, but you can't get the damn media. That's their job to get the people in the area excited about these things. It's Wednesday. The Bucks don't play till Sunday. How hard would it be to throw a little capsule in there about USF and get the people excited? Hey, guess what? Saturday, you're going to be able to go to the game if you want. Let's go ahead and go for 5, 10, but whatever the USF charges, which is minimum, to go into a game. And there's none of that. And like I said, I'm not going to draw this on because of time restraints, but it's disgusting, unfair. And that's why when I tell you folks that are listening to this show tonight to share this, have people join Bullseye, the group that Bradley and I had, we do that because we want you involved. We know there's USF fans. Now, we're not talking about the USF fans that listen to us on another platform. We know you're real USF fans. We're talking about USF fans that are out there that are not part of this. We need to get them involved. And the only way we're going to grow this and the only way that we're going to own this town as USF fans is to work together to make this happen.
Absolutely. Well, I don't know if you heard Joey Knight actually got promoted. He writes about the Buccaneers now. I don't know who the head beat writer is, Larry, at Tampa Bay Times now for the Bulls, but Joey Knight got promoted. He's helping out. Rick Strutt, I think, is the other main writer for the Bucks. So Joey Knight got promoted. He's now on the pro level. I heard that on 620, I think on Ronnie and T-Grass a few weeks ago or last week, that he had been promoted over there. So I don't know who the head writer is there, but I agree with you. I had a little tirade last night on my show about the ownership of the Tampa Bay Rays. I used some choice words for Stu Sternberg, and I don't know if he's going to listen or not. But again, it is disgraceful that, again, you're writing about the Bucks on a Wednesday. I know the Bucks are making a playoff run, but think about this too. Tomorrow opens up conference play in basketball. Like you said, Larry, they're going to, within a week or two, a couple of days from now, the ladies are going to have their first game on Saturday. They're going to allow limited fans, but if no one knows about it, who's going to go to the game unless you know you're a USF already and you listen to our show, or you listen to, Bulls Unlimited, or you go on, the USF website. You don't know about that. So again, they should have some kind of tab with, hey, guess what? There are tickets available. I know it's hard with COVID. Now people don't want to go out and be around people. Trust me, they wouldn't open up the Yingling Center if they didn't have it, spaced out where it'll be safe for everybody. So yes, I agree with you. It is disgraceful that we don't have local media covering USF. Same thing with the football team too. There wasn't really a lot of coverage for them either. So that's the way, again, maybe that's what we need to do. Like you said, get those fans that don't get on here, grow this thing so that we can start getting this stuff in the newspaper, so we can start growing USF as a fan base, because there isn't really a lot. Like we talked about earlier, there's a lot of Gator fans, Seminole fans, Hurricane fans here. We need those guys to be USF fans. You're in Tampa. Again, I'm one of them too that cheers for the Florida Gators, but I've been a Gator fan but USF is half. I'm half and half now. So I cheer for USF as much as I cheer for the Gators. So I'm looking forward to seeing them play next year. But I like I'm going to get into basketball here. I want to go to a basketball game this year. So I'm planning on doing that. So I'll be at the Yingling Center wearing my green and gold.
And, you mentioned something real quickly before we leave here, Bradley, and you mentioned a good point. First, you said Joey Knight's not a writer for USF anymore. Congratulations to him. I mean, they got enough writers for the Buccaneers. They can probably take each player on their own right now. But the point that you made that should be taken here is that means what we're saying is 100% true, because nobody's writing a story, because if they were writing a story, we all would know who was in charge of writing for USF right now.
Right.
And like you said, if it isn't Joey Knight, who is it? And you haven't done a heck of a job doing it, because nobody knows who it is. So what the hell are you waiting for? It just doesn't make sense. And it's a bad look for the Tampa Bay, I don't even know what they call, Times or Tribune, whatever the heck they call. What? I'm sorry?
Tampa Bay Times is the newspaper.
Yeah. And, if we don't know who's writing for them and we do a major show here and nobody else knows, that's an embarrassment to the city of Tampa. And someone at the Tribune, one thing I don't care is if I say it, I don't care if they hear it. Otherwise, I wouldn't say it. So enough, just like you did about Sternberg, okay? At the end of the day, Tampa Bay Times, you're wrong here, you're off here, and it needs to be corrected, and it needs to be corrected quickly, because right in your very own backyard, right at the Yingling Center, yes, we have a decent men's basketball team, but you have a women's basketball team right here in your backyard that very possibly can compete for the Sweet 16 in the women's tournament, and you're not doing a damn thing with it. You're supposed to write stories and get stories. Well, let me tell you something. This is a major story.
I agree.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Bradley Lewis and myself, until next week, we want to thank you very, very much. Next Tuesday, I think, is the last show before Christmas, if I'm correct. That's how fast time is flying by. So we want to thank you all. We did go a little bit later, but with great reason. And I know a lot of you don't mind that. We're sorry about the really small technical difficulties we had. It gave me time to get rid of whatever went down my throat the wrong way anyway. So it worked out well for both of us, but we do want to thank, as we thank all our contestants, Jessica Dickson for just an incredible interview. What a great lady, great athlete, and an even better person. We were so happy and proud to have her on tonight. For all of you, have a good night, and we'll see you next week on Bull.